All right. This is Added Beauty. I'm Dana. Let's talk about it. So today is Monday, and well, for a few minutes longer, I'm doing this really late. I almost didn't do it, but I committed to myself that I was going to try really hard to make sure I did one a day, especially during Lent. And so here it is for today. I think yesterday I fell asleep on it, and so I owe myself one of these days. I'm gonna have to do a 2 a day to catch up. But yeah, so today, I mean, you get the whole thing. You get the moo-moo, you get all of it, because mama about to go to bed. But it's one of those days where I spent time trying to figure out really my escape from the US. I think since in the last few days we have officially gone into war with Iran, Iraq, Israel, whoever, everybody. We warring with everybody. We're on Israel's side at the moment. We being the global US. I'm not speaking personally. And now Kuwait shooting planes down. People are held up in Dubai. US citizens can't get back. All kinds of stuff going on. And it's heavy, right? It's heavy. We've already lost some soldiers, and this doesn't have to be happening, right? The U.S. is turning into, us against everybody, and I don't think any of us want that, no matter what your politics are. My politics do not match this current regime. I wouldn't even say administration. I would say regime, because that's how they acting. But I remember getting calls or texts this morning like, you should go fill up your gas tank, taking some time to think about, do I need to get any additional supplies? I live near the port here, and when you go over that bridge back and forth every day, and it's interesting because you can, if you pay attention, you can see at different stages of when things have been happening, like with the tariffs or now with the war, there's more or less cartons at the port, like noticeably so, which of course all of our goods come in that way. And so if it's not coming in, eventually you're gonna see it's not getting to you. And it affects everything supply chain wise, and all the workers who do that job, right? The people who work at the dock, the people who drive the trucks across country, and then ultimately the stores, what they have on the shelves. So it will be interesting to see how things unfold over the next couple of weeks. Our current president has said he's willing to drag it out much longer than that if necessary. And, it will obviously affect things like gas prices, probably food prices, probably prices in general, and, availability of things. But more importantly, how does it affect our safety? And in the middle of all of that, how does that affect our mental safety, right? Because even if everything's relatively okay right now over here, although, a lot of people, including myself, might feel like it might not always stay all right right here, it still makes you feel uncomfortable, like, what's getting ready to pop off, right? And what can you do to be prepared? Like, do you need to have a go bag? Do you need to, just even a silly, well, no, it's not silly, but like, did you need to buy some more bottled water and basic stuff, toilet paper, paper towels, canned goods, seeds? And I'm not like a prepper or anything, but it's not bad to be prepared to a certain extent, for at least to cover yourself for a few days, right? Do you have some cash on hand if you're somewhere you needed to bounce? You know, do you have your card with you? Can you charge a flight? Not that you might not want to get on one right now, who knows? But you know what I'm saying, can you get somewhere? And being that I have been, you know, basically a single, well, you know, divorced mom for the majority of the time as I was raising my kids, you know, I guess I kind of still think about it like I'm supposed to, even though they're both adults, oh, you know, the one is with me, but like I'm supposed to figure out how to protect us in some way, and have a plan B or plan C in case things get sideways. Just because in this case, it feels very much like, and I'm not the only one who feels this, like that this particular war, if it, depending on how it goes, could come to America too. I think we always think about America as being a place that would not happen, right? We've got so much armory and firepower and this and that, and we're such, you know, but in reality, you know, there's other countries that have a lot of stuff too. And especially if they ever decide to gang up together, which some of them are saying they would, if, you know, we get froggy, they're getting froggy kind of a thing. I think it's better to assume the best, but be prepared in case it's not the best. So, you know, I have been kind of dreaming about where would I want to be, just in general, like not because of any doomsday situation or anything like that, but like where would I want to live if not here in California? Would it be another state? Would it be another country? And what would that look like? And I think, you know, I would have a lot more options in that way if not for the need to care for, you know, my son, which of course that's going to be a priority. It's not a problem, it's just a statement. You know, because since he is disabled and needs certain services, I mean, not that those services could be provided in other places, but it would be more logistics and probably a, you know, a pay out of pocket situation for medicines, treatments, and things like that. So to date, I have let that limit, even within the states, like where might I want to live and be to make sure that he can access, you know, the services that he needs. And plus, it's just hard on him to think about, you know, relocating or, you know, sometimes change is hard. But then at the same time, I have to be thinking about, like, you know, if a change does need to happen, I don't want to be, you know, 5 steps behind when I should be thinking about it, right? So, I don't know, watch a couple of other, I guess you'd say, influencers that, or YouTubers or folks who talk about, you know, how to start the process or where to even think about being if you were going to relocate somewhere, or how to go about processes of getting visas or dual citizenships and things like that. And I've been interested in it just to have, not necessarily out of any kind of panic mode. Kind of like looked around to see like where would I feel like we could live comfortably, where could I use the skills that I have to currently, you know, be able to pay our bills, right? I'm a registered nurse, and so probably I could find a nursing job somewhere else, but in general, nursing jobs pay the best here in the US, and in general, nursing jobs pay the best here in California. So anywhere else, you know, I would be taking a downgrade in pay. However, I'd have to look and see, does that get offset by what the cost of living is enough to make it make sense? Or do I want to try to figure out some other kind of skill that I have besides nursing that I can, use in a portable manner? And, like in my heart of hearts, I watch all of these people talking about having their laptop lifestyle. You know what that means, right? Like they can work from wherever as long as they've got their laptop. And, right, so they'll show themselves like, oh, I'm here at the beach. Oh, I'm here in the snow. Oh, I'm on vacation, but I'm stopping to do my couple of hours or a few minutes of work for today. Isn't it great? And you're like, yeah, that's great for you. First of all, if that's even real. Is that real for you? Is that how it's really going down? And for some people, yes, they've arranged their lives in such a way, and bless them, because, I wish I had been thinking in those terms sooner. I've been doing, I've been working since I was 14. And in some cases, I've had more than one job. And I have a business, I have a job, I have a startup at this moment. Working on offloading the business so I can focus on the startup. And, right now the job, of course, pays those bills. So, while I'm bootstrapping, while I'm supporting 2 households, etc. And that's another thing for me, right? I'm not just supporting myself and my son, I'm contributing to covering another household. So again, let's say in these turbulent times, or if I were to consider wanting to chuck it all and move to, who knows where, I still would have to think about how am I going to cover all of these things. And so I'm still thinking. I'm not a person that, I give up. I'm still working through it. Wherever I am, I still want to find a way to help people and to mentor, it would be some kind of, if it's not specifically healthcare, it would be coaching, it would be doing some sort of business that helps people to help themselves. Because it seems like no matter whatever my idea is, it always comes back to community in one way or the other. Wellness in one way or the other. It's going to be holistic wellness related and include mental and physical and financial wellness. So maybe those things can be put into a laptop lifestyle. And that would be so awesome, if I got that figured out in such a way that I'm able to support my own personal goals, support my family and folks that I do support, and be able to support some of you guys out there in whatever your personal goals are, and do it all the way that I want to, just, with honesty, with integrity, with transparency, because some days you don't feel like it, like today. you get the hair brushed back, you get the moo-moo today, and you get the, man, it's hard out here for a pimp today. But it's real, it's what it is, right? So you, in the middle of all of the storms that are going on, you still can't stop your life. So, I'm still doing things. I had a job interview today. It was a second interview. This was like the panel. And I think it actually went exceptionally well, which is great. But if this job were to become a full offer, it would involve me moving across the country. So I have to figure out if I want to do that. But it would be an opportunity to work in a completely different environment, still a hospital setting, but not the usual what I've been doing. And that's kind of exciting too. So I'm open to it. But again, that would involve moving further away from folks that I'm usually in proximity to in order to be helpful. And so it's just a part of, I'm in that midlife segment that a lot of you might be in, where you're kind of in a sandwich situation. You heard of that sandwich generation thing? Maybe you might need to do some things to help your parents or keep an ear on your parents. I did a lot of my mom's care and different other things, taking care of her business and stuff for years before she passed. And my dad is, I was her only child. My dad is on the other side of the country, closer to where this job would be, very close actually. So it put me in proximity to keep an ear on him as things progress with him. And maybe that's meant to happen. It could be that it's working out this way for that reason too. But then I also am caring for my adult children too. And I find I am still working on that work-life balance, that choose me balance of caring for myself. And I'm gonna keep working at it. I'm gonna find that balance. I'm not there yet. I still, the vast majority of my choices are in service or protection of the people that I love, which, that's what we're supposed to do. But also wanting to do that for myself too, right? Choose me. Sometimes I think if I didn't have these other, my family members that I needed to be there for, and God forbid, like I don't want the alternative. That's not what I'm saying. But if it were just me, where would I be? I probably would already have left the U.S. I probably would have found some kind of job that allowed me to be a little bit more nomadic, probably. And, or I don't know, just I'd want to explore more, I think. I'm a person that always likes to keep learning. And the world is so beautiful, even in all of this really ugly chaos. The world is so beautiful. And there's so much to see that I haven't had the opportunity to see. And I still want to see it. I still, I'm single. And I don't know if my person is here, here in the city, here in the state, here in the country. Where are you at? Where you at? I don't know. Where you at? But would me being able to get out into the world more, would I, run up on him? Who knows? So, you just let your mind wander sometimes, like what's out there that I still have yet to experience. And I hope it's not war. I hope we get to experience abundance in peace. And we still get to be able to travel, that our passport is still worth something. I got this passport, this global entry, all these things. I'm like, shoot, where can we go now? But at the same time, as rough as the last couple of weeks have been, not just because of the war, but just things in my life that have been going on, and mostly professionally, it just reminds you, time is fleeting. You can't get time back. And to make the choices that allow you to feel good about what you did with that time. So I'm working on it. And last weekend, I did a boot camp with a group led by a gentleman named Pedro Adeo. And it was like faith-based grouping of people who were working on entrepreneurship in different ways. And one of the themes of the weekend was trying to find your God idea or your God purpose, and then getting a kickstart to that business in real time during that weekend. And it was interesting because some people were at different levels of where they were with that. Like, and it was a free thing that he did for the group of us that had participated in one of his other activities. And we were called Kingdom Seekers. And so it was a 2-day thing at a hotel in Anaheim that ended up being right across the street from Disneyland. And people had the opportunity, if they wanted to make it also a Disney trip if they wanted, or extended vacation if they wanted to. I live local, so I drove and came back. And I found value in it. I found value in the fellowship of it. And I also found real value in the fact that they were working with people. People came from all over the country for this. And even though there was not a fee for the participation, of course, it would cost you a plane ticket and a hotel room, right? But they worked with folks on figuring out your idea if you didn't know what it was. Like, what's your thing that you're going to pursue? For me, I'm very aware of what I'm pursuing already. But I wanted to see what added value there might be in the way that they were going to try to help people make some moves immediately. Like, people left with their website up and running, a basic website. People left with information on how to automate some things with AI, some basic knowledge of some business skills and terminology and different things. There were segments and seminars that were meant to be encouraging for folks as well. And there was some prayer, and even one of the nights they had a worship night, and all of that is optional. And it was interesting to watch people some of them starting from, I have no idea, and I'm trying to feel what it is that God wants me to do. But through kind of walking and talking through it with folks, a lot of people actually really did know what they wanted to do, but they had, various blocks, whether it was previous trauma or someone who told them they couldn't do it, and they believed it or were afraid to try, procrastination, all the different things. And so there's some value in trying to move people to move, to go ahead and start. And there were some tools for me personally, because I have a business already, and because I do have a startup, and I've gone through accelerators and things like that. I've been in some ways over mentored and underfunded, right? Like, for my startup, I have a lot of clarity. I have a lot of foundational things in. What I actually needed to do now is fundraise. So I think it's in a little bit different position than a lot of the other folks. There are other people like me too, but everybody got something different out of it. One of the things that was helpful for me was working through for a new idea that I had, working through, who are the personas of the people that I would be helping, what their needs are, how they're working through trying to solve their problem, and where I can come in to be a problem solver in that way, which is what anything business is, right? You identify a problem and you identify a way to solve it. And if you do that well, then you usually end up with a good business. And so I appreciated that there was some time that I used, probably more than anything, just to be somewhere where I could focus and, not necessarily even have to go through all the exercises that the other folks were going through, although I paid attention and I was engaged in all of those things. But just focused time where, there's nobody calling me, mostly, where, there's not somebody saying, Mom, can I, or let's go here, or, what are we doing today, or whatnot. And I was able to just focus. And, the biggest thing that they were saying is, get focused, follow up, like start, or if you've already started, move to the next step, and move toward the finish line. And the biggest takeaway for folks, should have been, or what they're seeming to have the goal be, was that anybody can figure out something, whether you're looking for side hustle level or whether you're looking to build an empire that can bring you income that you can still feel good about, that you're still within your values and your morals and your kingdom goals. And so that good energy helped to offset the funky energy of, the things that were also happening the last couple of days. And I want to look into it some more, and maybe I'll do a video about it next. But I believe on Saturday, there was an alignment of planets that is only supposed to happen once every, I don't know how many years, but, and there should have been an unusual sunset that it caused on Saturday. I was still inside in that event, so I didn't see the sunset, but I want to go back and look. It would have been, so in case you're looking at this video way down the line, hopefully it'll still be around. The date was February 28th of 2026, and it was, either the stars were aligning or the planets were aligning or something was aligning. And I'm here for it. I'm here for alignment. It was also a full moon this weekend. And between planets and stars aligning, full moons, fire horse years, and everything else, I feel like it's definitely time for shifts, and the shifts are happening. One of the other shifts that I need to focus on is my finances, like we've been talking about, not just teaching you guys financial stuff, but even though war sucks and war kills and war destroys, war also makes a lot of millionaires and billionaires. And, you may not be able to affect whether you start or stop the war, but maybe you can affect whether you pay attention in ways that would help to, support your lifestyle, your investments, and at least not come out a loser in any additional way that we're already losing. So I'm going to look at where I could invest a little bit and see what happens. There's always infrastructure stuff that makes money during wartime. So I'm just trying to be practical. I'm trying to be thoughtful. I'm trying to be prayerful for sure. Mindful. Trying to pay attention. Trying to keep my ears open. My, physical ears and my spiritual ears about what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to be, if I'm supposed to be around this joint, or if I'm supposed to be looking at somewhere else, and if so, where would somewhere else be? Um, I have a few thoughts about where. I think I want to make an exit plan even if I never use it, which I probably wouldn't, but just for that level of peace of mind to know if things got freaky froggy, where we going? What we doing? Have you thought about that? Have you, besides filling up your gas tank or besides buying a few supplies or, have you thought about if you had to relocate, like, do you have a family member or a friend or somebody else in the country or in the state or another place you could relocate to, at least temporarily if you had to, or have you thought about a full-on exit plan? I know, for African Americans, I hear a lot of folks talking about, Ghana's offering citizenship. I don't know all of the details of that, or how that would look to live there as an African American. A lot of different countries that, previously or up to around now have had relatively easy requirements, and will that change based on anti-U.S. sentiment or based on a flood of those of us that are having the same thought, like, I got to get the beep up out of here because these people is crazy. So, I don't know, but, let's think about it together. If you got a good plan or somebody, let me know. Like, where's the place? Where's the folks? Where can you breathe a little bit better? I'm just looking to have that, still be able to rest, still be able to breathe, still be able to, just feel safe, like in your heart safe. Find a safe space that you can ground and then, be able to still grow, still be creative, still be all of yourself. I'm working on that. I'll keep you posted. Right now, I've got both feet on the ground. I'm gonna take my breath. Yep, that feels good. I made it through, y'all. One more down. This is Added Beauty. I'm encouraging you to be really intentional about adding some beauty, doing things that add peace, add grace, add life to your life. And I want you, of course, like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, but also just really take good care of yourself right now. Like, be easy with yourself. Yeah. And we'll get together again and we'll keep each other going some more. Have a great night.